This is the third race out of 6 in the Singapore National E-Cycling Championships. So this is how my third race went. I somehow didn't read the start time correctly and I came in 4 hours earlier at 1 PM because I thought the race was at 2. Okay, we're back at the YMCA building here, but actually the race was at 6 PM. So that's why I skipped lunch and thought I could grab something to eat after my weigh-in. By the way, all of us needed to be weighed in because the game requires our weight for the calculations. So when I went there and realized my race was at 6 PM, I was thinking if I should eat or not. Because it's a hill climb challenge, weight's supposed to play a bigger factor. So in the end, I decided to skip lunch since it was just 4 hours more. I weighed in at 5 PM at 51.1 kilograms.
Mine is a scrambler. 51. Okay, I can't change my...
And I thought I guess I should eat a little bit more since I skipped lunch. But by the point I realized I ate too much, it was already too late. The race was gonna start in half an hour and my tummy felt really full. So I was hoping that the stomach discomfort wouldn't affect my race too much. And here's how the race went. The race format is doing the same hill twice and adding both times together. So the flat section at the start and the descent isn't counted to the overall time. But if you finish first, you could gain bonus seconds of 10 seconds. So when the race started, Danny, a national triathlete, pushes off and everyone seems to be letting him go. We're all probably thinking because he's a little bit heavier rider, we could probably catch him later in the climb. Just 1 minute in only. So for the rest of us, it was just warm-up pace until the start of the climb around 3 kilometers later. So let's skip to that part. So once we crossed the red marking on the floor indicating the start of the time section, everyone went for it. As expected, Willie was the one pulling ahead and it's a matter of hanging on as much as possible to the national champion. Only I could respond to his attack and managed to close the gap. It took a bit out of my legs, but I couldn't keep up with the pace and Willie took off like I was standing still. My stomach wasn't super painful yet, but it was really uncomfortable and full. But the discomfort at that point of time was enough to prevent me from pushing out a lot of power. Actually, I feel like puking. It's just like...
Oh, your stomach's turning up.
So I just kept what I thought was a sustainable power, but eventually my tummy kept getting more and more painful until everyone caught up and passed me. I couldn't even respond and stay together with them at all. So it was just survival mode for me.
Not fun, painful stomach.
And I actually thought of giving up and leaving the race even before the first climb finished. It was too uncomfortable to push the pedals and handle the tummy pain as well. But then I thought since there's a downhill where I could recover for a few minutes, there's a chance I could feel better for the second climb. So I didn't want to give up just yet, even before the second climb started.
Eat too much. It's alright.
I completed the first climb last in 22 minutes and Willie did it in 18 minutes, 4 minutes ahead of me. And Danny did it in 19 minutes, which is a super performance as well. Now the downhill. I took this opportunity to stop pedaling and sit up straight. I recovered quite well during the descent and definitely felt much better. My avatar in-game was doing 50 to 75 kilometers per hour, so I took this time to relax a lot and stop pedaling.
Oh, that's a negative 10% gradient, negative 15% gradient, 76 km per hour. You're so fast now.
At the start of the second climb, I could see the rest of the guys were so far ahead of me and John was the closest to me. So after the recovery, my tummy wasn't hurting so much anymore, so I decided to push it. In fact, it didn't take very long before I caught up to John.
A 22-minute climb, so he was 1 minute 10 seconds behind. And suddenly, look at this, 5.8, 5.6.
This is very interesting. I mean, maybe he needed to do the first effort to do an opener. He's actually flying here. We'll see if he can hold this. But, I mean, that's crazy.
Was this his tactic, to go super slow on climb 1 and then smash climb 2?
And set my target for the next group, which was James and Dylan. From a 1 minute gap, I brought it down to 40 seconds and actually I thought it was possible to come in third today. My legs felt good even after overtaking John, but not for long. But the harder I pushed the pedals, it seemed like the harder my tummy is also pushing and became painful again.
Yeah, stomach pain again.
So even cycling at warm-up effort felt uncomfortable.
150 watts. I guess I have about 7 minutes left to go. Yeah.
John eventually caught up to me, probably gave me a virtual kudos and left. My My race was over and it was just zone 1 and zone 2 right up the hill, and my heart rate dropped to 135 beats per minute. So here are the results. Huge congrats to Willie. Both of his climbs were at 18 minutes plus, which no one else ever got close to on both days, I believe. I did my first climb in 22 minutes and my second climb in 26 minutes, which surprisingly isn't that bad since I spent most of the second climb at zone 2.
Hey, zone 2. Okay, zone 1 now, zone 1.
Anyway, I can't say I'm disappointed because it's totally 100% my mistake. It was just a shame because I didn't have the opportunity to show the results of my training. Lately, I've been hitting my highest weekly volume and my power numbers during my intervals were at all-time high, just like the stock market. And just the next day, I spent a total of 30 minutes at 4.8 watts per kg since I'm 51 kg now. So don't worry, my fitness is still there. And about fueling before the race, it's just about treading the fine line between fueling as much as you can without getting overboard. I should know this by now since I've done so many races from 11 years of cycling. But unfortunately today, I went overboard. I just read the race start time wrongly. I'm not sure how. So I chose to skip lunch and thought I could eat a little bit more after my weigh-in. So painful, but it was still a very fun race nonetheless. See you guys again for the next race. It will be the 4th race out of the 6 races in the series. And the last race will be the finals, where the first person will be the National Virtual Cycling Champion.